The Friday night crowd at the Sterling Club, one of New York's most luxurious rooftop restaurants, was buzzing. Waiters weaved between tables, champagne glasses clinked, and billionaires whispered about deals that would shape the world. Among them sat Alexander Cross, a real estate tycoon whose empire stretched across continents. But Alexander wasn't watching the skyline or the expensive wine in front of him. His eyes kept drifting to the waitress who was serving their section. She was young, plainly dressed compared to the glittering guests, and carried herself with quiet grace. There was nothing extraordinary about her, at least not to anyone else. That changed in an instant. The doors burst open, and two masked men stormed in with guns raised. Screams filled the air as terrified guests ducked under tables. Jewelry and wallets were demanded at gunpoint. Even the billionaire tycoon froze, his hand trembling on the tablecloth. But Emma, she didn't flinch. She didn't scream. She didn't even stutter when one of the robbers shoved the cold barrel of a gun against her temple. Instead, she calmly looked at him with steady eyes and said, in a low, controlled voice, "You're nervous. If your finger slips, you'll shoot the wrong person. Put the safety back on before you make a mistake you can't undo." The entire room held its breath. To everyone's shock, the gunman actually hesitated. Emma moved with precision, her hands raised, her voice measured, as if she'd rehearsed this 1,000 times. She guided the gunman's focus away from the hostages, talked him into lowering his weapon, and distracted him long enough for security to make their move. Within minutes, the robbers were disarmed and dragged out in cuffs. The restaurant erupted in applause. Guests rushed forward, praising her bravery. Alexander Cross, however, was speechless. He had spent his life surrounded by powerful people, politicians, CEOs, military generals, but he had never seen courage like this. Later, when the chaos settled, he approached her. "Who are you?" he asked. Emma only gave a faint smile. "Just a waitress, sir." But Alexander knew that wasn't the whole truth. Days later, the world found out. News outlets revealed that Emma was a former hostage negotiator for the FBI, a woman who had walked away from her career after a personal tragedy. She had chosen a quiet life, far away from headlines and tilt. Fate placed her in the path of danger once again. The footage of her staying calm at gunpoint went viral worldwide. She became a symbol of courage, grace under fire, and the power of keeping calm when others collapse. And Alexander Cross, he didn't just offer her money or a reward, he offered her a partnership. Together, they would go on to establish a foundation dedicated to crisis training for ordinary people, so no one would ever feel powerless in moments of fear again. The billionaire had come for a quiet dinner. Instead, he witnessed history and the woman who stunned the world by staying calm with a gun to her head. Alexander Cross was not a man easily impressed. At 52, the billionaire real estate tycoon had dined with presidents, negotiated with royalty, and crushed rivals in boardrooms across the globe. He had seen everything, or so he thought. That night at the Sterling Club, New York's glittering rooftop jewel, he was hosting a dinner with investors from Dubai. Crystal chandeliers glowed. The skyline glittered like spilled diamonds, and a string quartet filled the air with soft music. Yet Alexander's attention kept flickering toward the waitress serving his table. Her name tag read Emma. She moved with quiet efficiency, balancing trays with practiced ease, her calm presence somehow cutting through the noise of the bustling restaurant. She wasn't flashy, not like the models and socialites draped on the arms of his guests. But there was something about her, something composed, centered, as if chaos could never touch her. Alexander didn't know it yet, but he was about to see that composure tested in the most terrifying way possible. It began with the crash of glass. The doors to the rooftop burst open, and two masked men stormed in, guns raised. Screams erupted. Guests ducked under tables, diamonds and champagne scattering across marble floors. "Everyone down," one of the men barked. waving his weapon. Alexander froze. His investors clutched each other in panic. The billionaire's heart thundered in his chest, not from the threat of losing his watch or wallet, but because for once in his life, he was utterly powerless. One of the gunmen seized Emma. He shoved the cold barrel of his pistol against her temple. "Don't move, or the waitress dies," the room gasped. Alexander's breath caught in his throat, but Emma didn't even flinch. She stood tall, her tray slipping soundlessly to the floor. She turned her head slightly, her voice calm, steady, unnervingly controlled. "You're nervous," she said softly to the man holding her. "Your hands are shaking. You've got the safety off. That makes you dangerous to yourself, to him, to everyone." The robber blinked, momentarily thrown off by her tone. "If your finger twitches," Emma continued, "you'll shoot someone you didn't mean to. You don't want that." The entire restaurant held its breath. Alexander, watching from just a few feet away, felt the air shift. The billionaire who had stared down ruthless bankers suddenly felt small compared to this waitress, standing at gunpoint, negotiating calmly for her life. The second robber snarled, "Shut her up." But Emma didn't. Her eyes stayed locked on the man with the gun. "You didn't come here to kill anyone," she said, her voice steady as stone. "You came for money. You want to leave alive. I can help you do that, but not if you pull that trigger." Her words flowed like water, measured, deliberate. The gunman's breathing slowed. His grip faltered ever so slightly. That was all security needed. A guard hidden near the bar lunged. Shouts erupted. In seconds, the two robbers were disarmed, tackled to the floor, and handcuffed. The restaurant exploded in cheers, sobs, and relief. Guests rushed forward to praise Emma, calling her a hero, but she only shook her head, brushing glass from her apron. "I just did what anyone would have done," she said. Alexander knew better. He approached her, his voice quieter than anyone had ever heard him speak. "Who are you?" he asked. Emma gave a faint smile. "Just a waitress, sir." But that night, Alexander couldn't shake the image of her calm gaze, her fearless voice. Within days, the truth emerged. The viral video captured by a guest's phone spread like wildfire. Millions watched the moment Emma stood calmly at gunpoint, her composure saving dozens of lives. Investigative reporters dug deeper. They discovered Emma's past, a former FBI hostage negotiator, one of the youngest in bureau history. She had walked away years earlier after losing a teammate in a failed rescue. She had sworn never to step into danger again, until danger found her. Alexander Cross wasn't content to let her story end there. He sought her out, offering money, jobs, even protection. She refused them all until he made a different offer. Not charity, not employment. A partnership, Alexander told her. "Help me build something that lasts. A foundation, training for ordinary people, teachers, cashiers, nurses. The world needs your calm more than ever." And so, the Emma Foundation for Crisis Response was born. Emma became the face of resilience. She traveled the world teaching civilians how to survive hostage situations, empowering people to stay calm when life turned violent. Alexander funded it all, pouring his billions not into skyscrapers, but into saving lives. The billionaire who thought he had seen everything realized he had never truly understood courage until he watched a waitress stand fearless with a gun to her head, and the world never forgot the night Emma stunned it into silence and then into hope.